This unimpressive building contains a rare and priceless treasure from 2,000 years ago. The building is the Cultural Relics Protection Workstation in Nanchang, dedicated to the finds from the Marquis of Haihun's tomb. The station has been in operation for 4 years. The protective restoration of most bronze, gold, and jade items has been finished. But the cleaning of wood and lacquer wares, and most particularly the bamboo slips, is a painstaking, ongoing process.
其实都没洗，这还好背面没字儿。他们总说让看剪背划痕，没看到过。
These specialists are cleaning bamboo slips from the Western Han Dynasty over 2,000 years ago. The slips are of huge academic value, but when they were unearthed, they were nearly destroyed. These photos were taken in November 2015 at the excavation site of an ancient tomb at Nanchang's Guodun Mountain. After 5 years' preparation, the tomb was fully excavated, revealing a huge coffin pit, covering an area of 400 square meters. Then, as the extraction of the cultural relics began, the problems mounted.
当时我们把这个西北角清理之后，我们就向西面去清理，然后就发现了这个堆积。当时它堆积特别复杂，你像从这个照片上也能看出来，上面压了很多散碎的漆皮，还有一些泥巴。
工作人员当时就问我，他说：“杨老师，这一堆东西跟泥巴一样的，是不是可以清掉？”我就把文保组的组长管理找过来，我说：“这堆泥巴，现在我们没有弄清它是什么。我说等专家组来。” 特别是要等荆州文保中心的吴老师来了之后，他们确定是什么，我们再把它清也不迟。
Young Jun was astonished by what the experts said.
果然吴顺清后来就马上就到了，一下去一看，他说这哪是泥巴呀，这就是我们所传说中的我们一直说的竹简。 后来有队员都跟我说，他说杨老师，如果当时真的你没有那一刹那的坚持的话，你真的同意大家把这个当泥巴清掉，那就是把海昏侯里面最重要、最宝贵的东西给清理掉了。
This bamboo slip was buried underground for more than 2,000 years. It is now incomplete, yet when the elegant inscriptions on it were revealed, they still tell us an important story from long ago.
南藩海昏侯陈赫媚死再拜皇帝陛下。通过这些竹简和木牍上面的文字，基本上就让我们非常有信心的判断，这应该是属于第一代。 海昏侯刘贺。
In 59 BC, during the reign of Emperor Xuan of Han, Liu He, the first Marquis of Haihun, died on the west side of the Poyang Lake. He was originally the wealthy king of Jiangxi. He once became a Han Dynasty emperor, but was deposed just 27 days later. He was then enforced as a marquis, and when he died, buried in this huge tomb in Jiangxi village, Nanchang. Even as a deposed emperor, he was given an extravagant burial. In an exhibition hall in Jiangxi Provincial Museum, golden articles in various shapes, exquisite jade articles, and complete sets of bronzes are on display. Visitors are amazed by them. Each of these gold cakes weighs half a kilo. More than 90 were unearthed in tomb number 1. They seem much alike, but inscriptions on 4 of the gold cakes set them apart from the others.
墨书精敏是怎么一回事呢？就是在我们的385枚精敏当中呢，其中有4枚是有墨书书写的。那么这个墨书呢，书写的文字呢，就是南方海昏侯陈赫元康3年奏经易经的字样。
海昏侯墓葬里面虽然出土了金玉满堂的这些随葬品，比如大量的黄金和非常精美的玉器，实际上海昏侯墓里面最有价值的就是有文字的东西。
In 1975, more than 1,100 bamboo slips from the Qin dynasty were unearthed in Shuihu-di. In 1996, more than 100,000 bamboo slips from the Three Kingdoms period were unearthed in Zhouma-lo. In 2002, more than 30,000 bamboo slips from the Qin dynasty were unearthed at Liyue. They record the information about the politics, economy, military affairs, law, ethnic groups, postal service, and trade of those times. They fill in the details of history. Sometimes they even turn our idea of history on its head. In the earlier stages of Chinese civilization, culture was exclusive to the aristocracy, with oracle bone scripts and bronzeware scripts only used for specific ritual purposes. Wooden and bamboo slips made the popularization of writing and education possible. This revolution in communication led, indirectly, to the flourishing of many schools of thought. Recorded on wooden and bamboo slips, these ideas were passed down to later generations. Their relationship with these original thoughts gave wooden and bamboo slips a unique historical significance. From oracle bone, bronzeware to wooden and bamboo slips, the change of writing material altered the way of writing. It's faster to write on wooden and bamboo slips. Limited by the narrow space of the slips, the characters had to be small in size. As a result, characters were simplified and rounded characters became square and rectilinear. The key evolutionary stage in Chinese characters was dictated by the medium of wooden or bamboo slips. The slips were bound together, which not only increased their capacity of carrying information, but also defined the format of books. The resulting manner of writing and reading influenced Chinese culture for thousands of years.
今天妈妈可能也不能去接你，今天太早了啊！提着你的小书包。拜拜，跟妈妈再见，再见，再见。啊，终于走了一个。
Guan Li, head of the Cultural Relics Protection Team for the Marquis of Haihun's tomb, has 2 sons. When she started to take part in the archaeological survey on the tomb, her elder son hadn't even been born. Her younger son is now 1 year old. Going to the workstation at the tomb is part of his routine.
上班了哈。
其实，就是我们第一时间参与进去，就这个好处，你对他会非常深厚的感情，而且你对他特别熟悉。就是从他一开始，就是暴露出来之后，我们就开始，你就一直在呵护他，一直到他送进博物馆去。整个这个过程又时间很长，就像你对孩子成长，你也是就会一直关注他，即使他离你远了，你始终你的目光都在他身上。
The Cultural Relics Protection Workstation is nicknamed Prison Number 9 by its staff. It's equipped with high walls, an electric fence, fierce guard dogs, and security guards to guarantee the safety of the relics. The work here is both prestigious and difficult. The bamboo slips are fragile, so great patience is needed for the restoration work.
这些茧颜色看起来是完完整整的，一根一根的。其实当时出土的时候，它是好招朽的，一坨一坨的。
我们这个海昏侯墓，它是一个淤泥墓，这个就实际上做考古清理的人就知道，这个淤泥墓它很多文物是很难提取的，而且在我们刚开始清理的时候，我们并不知道这边有竹简，我们是按照顺序来清理的，这样它在空气中暴露的时间就又增加了几个月。那么这种它和空气的这种接触啊，对竹简是有一些不可逆的影响的，而且竹简本身保存状况就不是很好。我们在提取的是很多断裂的、卷曲的、变形的、干缩的，就是状况很糟糕。
Faced with the large quantity of bamboo slips that are beyond recognition, the first thing to do is to remove the mud and clean them. This is no easy work. The slip's inner structure has been destroyed, and they could break into pieces with a slight touch.
我们经常开玩笑嘛，说这个不能手抖啊，这个出去我们手必须热热的过来，你不能哆哆嗦嗦的过来洗剪，因为你这手抖一下，国有资产就增值了，这个一根茧变成2根茧了，尽可能的，这个确实对这批茧是很敬畏的。
The workers use a kind of reinforcing agent on the bamboo slips before they start to remove the mud from them.
我们这个加固药水呢，它主要就是说这个高分子材料在填充跟水产生一个置换，加固药水一渗透进去之后，它这个强度和韧性增加了，也就是说你接取的时候，至少它不会断裂，也不会碎成渣的这种粉末状。
Even with the help of the polymer baths, it still takes the workers a year to remove the mud from more than 5,000 bamboo slips and clean them. In this process, they also carry out infrared scanning of each bamboo slip. The scan and the orthophoto images provide reference for the restoration.
你看这个咱们没清洗的这些茧，这还是有一点干扰的，整个这字迹还是挡住了哈。
对对对，这边可能还是需要做一个处理的。
对，就我们后面洗剪的时候注意一点这个区域，然后脱色之后，咱们再看一下对比这个效果怎么样。
对。
To see the inscriptions on the bamboo slips clearly, they first have to remove the mud. If the work is not done properly and the surface of the bamboo slips is damaged, it will lead to an irreversible loss.
有一些比较糟的这些，这个一定要荆州来把个关，知道一下。
It is a huge challenge for Guan Li, who has never dealt with such unearthed wooden and bamboo slips. Not sure whether she could get the work done, she doesn't dare to treat it lightly. Everyone is waiting for expert advice. Guan Li invites Wu Shunqing, a specialist in the protection of unearthed and waterlogged cultural relics, to help them.
先看一道，
对，
检查一遍，该出水的，跟你说一下，就是尽量的弄到以后就出水。好，出水的时候有些注意事项，要捂好的就得使唤。好，你们弄一下，因为出头要定下型嘛，不能让它自己，定下型。
可能需要这边有人指导我们一下，这一个环节还没做过。太好了，这个来了我们这儿就好做了。
Wu Shunqing graduated from the Department of Polymer Chemistry at Wuhan University. He is the first director of Jingzhou Cultural Relics Protection Center. Jingzhou Cultural Relics Protection Center is the leading institution dealing with the restoration of waterlogged bamboo slips. Its skills in decolorizing and dehydrating waterlogged wooden, bamboo, and lacquer wares are unmatched. When and wherever waterlogged wooden and bamboo slips are unearthed in China, Wu Shunqing and his team will be on hand to advise. Wu Shunqing is very familiar with this work, but never gives it less than his fullest attention.
关键我不敢摁它，你知道吗？不然它你人这儿也能固定。
对，你肯定要固定的，不固定不行。
我只敢这样轻轻的在旁边那个切手切脚。
这就差距。
差距。
啊，支出来了啊！你看啊，对，很多支啊，很多支啊，对，因为它压了几千年木。这个就开始，你们8个人就这样洗吧，对，就是呢，从这边一粘着洗啊。好，来，谁来洗？快点。啊，我来洗。好。对，就是不能在高头来回刷啊，就那点点洗啊。对。
点洗。
像这个洗剪不能强求，你刚开始就可以把它从这边大幅的点过去，就如果是点不下来就泡一下，因为它有些泥土比较结，泡一下了以后再洗，所以一般的剪都是洗5、6遍、6、7遍，多的可以洗到3、4遍。这不能一次，你一次想把泥洗干净，可能纸也洗干净了。
不来，
对，
不可强求。
With Wu Shengqing's help, the team are making good progress with the excavated slips. The work is a test of patience and care. It also springs a few surprises.
你看昨天这个剪，糊得很糊的啊，脏东西看不到。
是啊，这个清洗之后好清楚。
你清洗以后好清楚的看，这个字迹很清楚，是吧？
While the experts try to interpret the inscriptions on the bamboo slips, one slip with inscriptions on both sides catches their attention.
一支剪的背后啊，有这个知道的这么2个字，估计因为有这个偏题，过去文献记载，其中有这么一篇啊，在今天我们看的那个金本《论语》，已经没有这一篇了。
This means a passage in the Analects that had been lost has been rediscovered through this tomb find. The discovery goes viral online. Some internet users joke that they've waited 2,000 years for the Analects to be updated. It will take the experts from Peking University to get more information from the inscriptions on the slips. It's work that will take a long time. At the moment, the top priority is to make the vulnerable slips strong enough to survive.
剪都是属于有机质文物，不管是木头的，是竹子的，有机质文物，像这个东西都是在要求长期的在保水情况下。 要长期的在干燥情况下，它能保存。为什么它要一个恒定的一个环境？它只是干千年、10万年，不是指半年。如果是保存的比较好的剪的话，出来那个剪的本身应该是朱黄色的，很漂亮。但是在那个它也会一剪空气很快，几秒钟或者是最多1分钟，它就会化合，化的那个最后的时候还是看不到字。
Wu Shengqing and his team try again and again to restore the bamboo to its original color, hoping to find an effective agent.
脱色主要的就是一个氧化还原过程，还原成原来的颜色。
Their surface is blackened by oxidation, and their inner structure is very fragile.
它就是保水的，一般的都在3%或者高的在5%左右吧，都在。所以这是么开的，就是说里面所有的木头都已经腐烂的，全部这个支撑是用水来支撑的。
Most of the slips unearthed in Marquis of Haihun's tomb are 23 centimeters long, 5 millimeters wide and 2 millimeters thick. If they were stored in a natural environment without being processed, their inner structure would collapse due to dehydration, and they'd end up in slivers like toothpicks. The experts would lose the opportunity to study their inscriptions. The chemical expertise of Wu Shengqing's team comes into play again. They use ethyl alcohol and higher alcohol to replace the moisture in the bamboo. It is a long process. After a year or more, the slips soaked in the chemical solution will be stabilized. The blackened bamboo slips can be restored to their original color, and the waterlogged slips can also return to their original shape. But are there any ways to restore the ones that were already dehydrated and shrunk during the process of excavation? This is another challenge for Wu Shengqing's team. They must use their expertise to waken the dormant spirits in the slips. After sleeping for several thousand years, this bamboo slip can finally stretch itself as we hear its story. Ten years ago, the excavation of the tomb of Marquis of Haihun began. 5 years ago, the protection of the unearthed cultural relics started. As the team grows and new technologies are developed, the bamboo slips are awakened one by one.
实际上，我们这个保护修复的这个过程啊，我们从15年1月份一直到现在，走过了好几年。这个经历过程中，我的2个孩子也在逐渐的成长。对文物工作，就文物保护工作中这个心态，也像是一个最初的从新手妈妈，然后逐渐成长的一个过程。这批竹简，我们从刚开始发现，到一点一点保护它，想尽可能把这批竹简就是最好的状态呈现出来。但是在这个过程中，我们不可避免的会遇到一些问题，令我们措手不及，或者是我们觉得很难解决。但是比较幸运的是，还有吴主任这样很坚强的团队在后面支持着我们。我们也是在这个过程中，不断的在这个实践中在历练，在成长。
Thanks to the efforts of Wu Shengqing, Guan Li, and the other cultural relics protection workers, we now all have the opportunity to listen to the stories told by these bamboo slips. They tell us about how our ancestors ate, thought, and lived in both their private and public lives. They are arrows that pierce the mists of time.